We're good to go. Going. We are live. Welcome to Best Practice TV. We've got no internet. Someone's unplugged the internet. You're on the Wi-Fi. Okay. Welcome to Best Practice TV. In this video and in this live stream, I'm going to be talking about one of our viral LinkedIn posts last week, which is my five tips of habits that you can use. 5 things you can kind of be thinking about and doing, or me reminding you to do them to make your week super productive, help you to get your goals. So we're well into 2021. It's the middle of March. We're kind of forgetting our New Year's resolutions maybe. And if you need this little bit of Wednesday morning motivation or Tuesday night motivation for you guys, then this is something that we can give you guys a little boost along. So I'm going to go through my 5 kind of, my 5 headlines, if you like, or reminders to help me be more productive and move forward with my career and my goals and those kinds of things. So hopefully this helps you. Tip number 1, we're going to get straight into it today. I've got a dashboard. Let me know where you are watching from. If you are watching, I've got a dashboard. We're streaming live to YouTube and also streaming live to LinkedIn. So thanks, guys, for joining us. We're trying a few different things this morning. My first one is my morning routine. Your morning routine and kind of knowing what you're going to do really is going to set you up for success. And if you kind of just drifting along, you kind of get out of bed, you might have breakfast, you might not have breakfast if you do intermittent fasting. I do intermittent fasting, so I don't necessarily have breakfast. If I do have anything, it'll be some fruit till noon. Myself, we might have a nice breakfast on a Sunday. That's a bit of a routine, but to kind of have that routine, have that tradition, if you like, of what you do in the morning, it's important because that sets you up for the day. So if you're kind of not really feeling like you're accelerating quickly towards your goals, I can kind of suggest that the best place you can start in terms of changing it up a gear is kind of getting a really solid routine. Set your alarm half an hour to an hour earlier. You got to start the day before. You got to get to bed early. So if you really want to really crank it tomorrow, then set yourself an alarm to go to bed half an hour earlier tonight. So you can kind of start tomorrow tonight, which is setting yourself an alarm to go to bed. iPhones are really good for that. They got that bedtime, awake time procedure, or alarm and setting, bedtime setting on an iPhone's alarm clock. So I guess setting yourself up for that morning routine. Now, my morning routine, the thing that I love the most and I find I'm most productive and most successful is if I can get up and get some reading done. If I can get that reading done before my family wakes up, I've got a young family, and the mornings are quite precious. I used to train and do heaps of exercise, kind of 2 hours every morning, 7 days a week. But since I've had my son, it's that quality time before he goes to school is really important. So for me, my morning routine is to get up before the sun, get some reading done and get some study done. Check in on, I don't check my email, but what I do is I try to respond to comments on my LinkedIn or on my Instagram or on my social media in the morning. So I can kind of get a sense of how the community's feeling and how everybody is and how posts went overnight. And that's the time that I'll get through that. If I have a little bit of time, I'll look at my calendar. But generally, I go through my calendar at 8 a.m. with Caitlin, my executive assistant. So that morning routine is really important. And if you are motivated, and I want you guys to kind of succeed in your careers, and I want you guys to kind of do the things you want to do. If you think about starting a business or you think about getting into that, the morning is so important. I felt a bit groggy this morning. I had a late night. We had some good friends around for dinner last night. So I had a bit of a late night, dinner networking, kind of stuff. Some lovely old friends of ours came around for dinner. They're moving to another city shortly. So you know who you are and I know you're watching. So it was lovely to have you guys around last night. So kind of a bit different for us last night, but the morning routine is really important. And getting that alarm. And if you're somebody who really struggles in the morning to get out of bed, knowing full well that this is a good approach, then when my alarm goes off, I will put my feet on the floor, is the saying in your head. When my alarm goes off, I'll sit up, pivot around, and put my feet on the floor. That's all you need to do. It's that simple. You don't need to get up, have a shower, get going, and go running and go to the gym and all that kind of stuff if you're not a morning person. If you're not a morning person, when your alarm goes off, sit up straight, turn around, put your feet on the floor. That's all you need to do. Then it's really easy. Put your feet on the floor, stand up. Once you're up, it's easy. You're off and going. But it's really easy to when my alarm goes off, hit the snooze button and stay under the comfy doona. So that's a tip for you if you're not super productive in the morning. Then kind of think about what you want to get onto. So I like to do my reading, got lots of business books. That's when I can get into it, make some notes. I check my to-do list. The next tip number 2, is really about staying focused and helping yourself stay focused. I have this book, this day book, that's chock-a-block full of lists. And it's all my notes from what I write down in the morning or through the day. I'm taking notes of actions I need to implement from meetings, trying to get through stuff. Doing the biggest, ugliest, hardest thing first. And there's some really big things that, I've got some really big goals that are not progressing at the moment. I'm kind of finding it hard to get traction on them. I've got to break those things down. There's a couple of little things I can do to shift that along, phone calls I can make, and I'm going to be making those this afternoon after I've done this live stream and had a few catch-ups with a few people. So having a daily to-do list is absolutely essential. And if you haven't got a daily to-do list, I want you to feel guilty. Because you're cheating yourself out of achieving the things you need to achieve. So sitting down with a blank sheet of paper, I know some people love, opening up a screen and doing tasks or setting that kind of stuff. Excuse me. I've not seen in all the people I've employed in all of these years anything more effective than a sheet of paper, and more effectively is what we call here. These are called day books. It's just a book with blank sheets of paper. It's called a day book. Having a day book, I like a fresh page, and then I can go back over all of my lists. So this is just a book full of to-do lists. So having an exercise book is a really great way. I don't necessarily myself agree with a legal notepad because the page gets ripped off, screwed up, and put in the bin. I like to look back over my books even 10, 15 years later of what I was doing, and I can remember what I was doing, and I can learn from that. Old phone numbers, old meeting minutes. It's a great piece of history, and it's the history of your career and your business that you can look back over like a journal, if you like. So a daily list of to-dos, really important. The next one is thinking about, am I in my comfort zone? We know that when you get outside your comfort zone, that's really helping you to grow and improve. If you are coming on, hey team on LinkedIn, Stan, always great to have you on LinkedIn. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, let me know where in the world you are watching from. If you're watching the recording on YouTube after this amazing event, let me know where in the world you've been watching from. If there's anything you'd like to add, if there's any of the habits that you've already developed that I haven't covered, let me know, because I can always add to my list, and maybe you could help me. I'd be very grateful for that. Get outside your comfort zone. I too get in a comfort zone. I get in a bit of a rut, particularly through 2020. It felt like Groundhog Day, same thing every day in, day out, lockdown, COVID, face masks, don't go to the shops, try and stay home, try not to spread the coronavirus. In 2020 was really, really challenging. Kind of felt like we were doing the same thing day in, day out. But we did grind out a daily 20-mile march, the Jim Collins quote, you've got to do the 20-mile march each day. So getting outside your comfort zone, I think, is really important. So ask yourself, am I in my comfort zone? Am I procrastinating on something because that's going to be taking me out of my comfort zone? And if you're scared of something going wrong, then kind of think about consequential action. So what are the consequences of not doing something? Like, yes, there's consequences, sometimes negative consequences of doing something, but I can guarantee the negative consequences of not doing something is you will never achieve that goal you set out to achieve. So you've got to get yourself out of your comfort zone. You've got to push yourself, and you get rewarded. So the more you invest, the greater the rewards. The more you invest, the greater the rewards. So try not to back off. So get yourself out of your comfort zone. Tip number 4, moving your body and fueling your mind. I love going for a walk if I can, getting up early and going for a walk, and then being back in time for family breakfast. So get up, bit of reading, go for a walk. If I can do a 10-kilometer walk before the family wakes up, that takes me about an hour and a half to do that. 10-kilometer walk. There's a lake right by my house, and I can walk around that lake, all the way around that lake. And it's about a 10-kilometer walk. So if I can get that done, moving your body, and it's also going to fuel your mind with energy. You're going to get your blood moving, the air in your oxygenate your blood and get that moving around your body. You're going to think faster and smarter. So oxygen in your blood is going to help you think faster and smarter. So there's 2 things that fuel your brain. It's the oxygen, obviously the nutrients in your blood, but it's the oxygen in your blood, and the sugar in your blood is what powers your brain. So it is important to make sure that there is blood sugar available for your brain to function. So if you're on a low sugar diet, now this is counterintuitive to your health, but to think smart, you need sugar in your blood. Yes, to think smart, you need sugar in your blood. So you've got to think about the right sugars. That's why I eat fruit. So I get my sugars from fruit. That's well documented in Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow, in their work on how the brain functions and how to get high brain function. So sugar, you need to have sugar in your blood, not sugar in your coffee, and not caffeine. Caffeine does not, it helps cognitive brain function, but it doesn't actually help you think smarter. So you can read more about that in Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow, a 30-year piece of research in a doctorate, and he won the Nobel Prize for Science and Economics for that piece of work. So it's not coming from me, it's coming from the scientists. So that was tip number 4, move your body and fuel it with healthy food. So you are what you eat. So think about what you've been eating the last week. Think about what you've been eating the last week, and it's those things that are the building blocks for your skin and your bones and your brain and your teeth and your fingernails, your muscles. So we've got to think about the ingredients, and I sometimes get concerned about my 10-year-old son who lives on chicken nuggets and hot chips because he's becoming a chicken nugget. So we're trying to get him to eat green vegetables, so we hide them in spaghetti bolognese and things like that. But that's something to consider, is the healthy food that you put inside your body becomes the building block. So you need proteins for your muscles. You need green vegetables for energy and for iron and for the minerals and nutrients. So the minerals and nutrients that are in the soil get sucked up by the plant. The plant becomes something you can consume, or the animal becomes something you can consume. And we are a consumption planet. We're consuming and all consuming and being consumed. So that's something to consider. But you can move your body and fuel it with healthy food. Tip number 5, and this is the last one, is white space and focusing and reflecting on positives. Now, people come to me and, I've been told over my life, hey, focus on the positive, focus on the positive. But for me, that's been quite difficult until more recently, when I realized that people say, oh, you're thinking about doing something, you're going to go outside your comfort zone, a business idea or something like that, and you write a list of pros and cons. You write a list of pros and cons. Well, I've found that if I forget to write the list of cons, then that helps me focus on the positive. So just write down a list of all the positive things of going ahead and doing that goal, and then you will talk yourself into it. Don't write the list of negatives. Don't list out the negatives. Don't talk about the negatives. Don't think about the negatives, and try and block your mind and say, if you think about something negative, try and think about the counter of something positive. But if you can write a list physically with a pen and paper, write a list of all the good things that are going to happen when you do that goal and get outside your comfort zone, it'll be a no-brainer, because there's no negatives, and don't focus on that sort of stuff. So that is a tip for how to physically focus on the positive. So quick one today with our live stream. We're practicing trying something different on the LinkedIn with Best Practice Live, going live on the Best Practice account instead of the Kobi Simmat account. Huge amount of stuff happening on my LinkedIn in the last 2 weeks. It has blown up in terms of the posts we've been doing, the commentary we've been getting. I really appreciate that from everybody. We're going to edit this live stream and we're going to drop it out as a video on my LinkedIn account. We're not broadcasting live on my LinkedIn account this week. So I hope you've been enjoying the content we've been putting out. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely fantastic. So if you are with us here on Best Practice and you're not following my account, Kobi Simmat on LinkedIn, go and check that out. There's a lot of great stuff happening over on that account. The team are putting a huge amount of work into it. And also Best Practice and Kobi Simmat on Instagram. Big project happening next week on the Kobi Simmat Instagram account, my Instagram account, with content. So I think I won't let the cat out of the bag, but we should see some really interesting things happen on that Instagram account next week. So have a look at what's happening in terms of engagement and followers and those kinds of things on the Kobi Simmat Instagram account next week. Stan, how was that? Let me know in the comments. Good to have you on board. Caitlin, hello. Cameron's here in the studio, and Luke, good. Hey, Jerry. Warrington in New Zealand, connection issues. Andrew Smith, hello. Ira in Chicago in the US on YouTube. So, hey, guys that are watching live on LinkedIn, and YouTube, good to have you on board. How was this? So we've written a description below the video on YouTube for you guys, just in terms of the post. They've put the copy, they've copied the text we put up on the LinkedIn post down there below in the description. A 23-year-old tweet, excuse me, at 23 years old, I was working super hard at my job, following my manager's example to do my best to deliver my KPIs month after month, but I was failing to achieve any progress. And what I did was I actually put my managers at the time up on a pedestal. I thought they kind of had it under control. Our bigger boss of the division had promoted a couple of managers to be managers, probably more on their length of tenure at the company than their actual skills. They were shocking leaders. But I didn't know that at the time. I look back and I'm like, oh, they could have done a huge amount differently. We didn't know at the time. I didn't know they weren't very good leaders. They didn't know they were very good leaders. I'm sure they're better now. But it did really affect me, and it meant that I wasn't able to achieve, and there was kind of a bit of internal competition instead of working together as a team. So these kind of 5 things that I've talked about this morning, we broadly speak about the best practice high 5, but when we talk about white space and reflecting on positives, I talk about going for a walk as point number 5 there. I've found that when I go for a walk, no music, no sound, no technology, I can kind of reflect on the week, and that's when I do my best thinking. And we talk about meditation and practicing gratitude, but practicing gratitude, I need something to follow. So for me, writing down the things that I achieved this week is my way of writing down and practicing gratitude and kind of meditating, if you like, or my walks are how I meditate. But that does give me a better, more positive feeling. The other thing too, it talks about practicing white space. I'm getting a lot of dividends lately from getting to bed early. Half an hour earlier than normal, instead of kind of letting it stretch. You can always let it stretch, but you got to kind of get up the next morning. And so your sleep gets compressed, and that's where you actually make your sacrifices. But good quality sleep and getting to bed early is actually what pays dividends in terms of thinking faster and thinking smarter each day, being more emotionally resilient. So emotional resilience is going to come from that rest you get each night, instead of craving a holiday. I know a lot of people are craving holidays, but travels are kind of a bit limited to those great holiday destinations at the moment. So that's something to consider, is how you can create your white space to give you your kind of clear thinking without distraction. Something to consider, whether it's quiet time. I was trying to do some thinking yesterday afternoon. It was really noisy in our living room with the dog and my wife and Harley, my son. And that was a real challenge yesterday afternoon. So I kind of picked the wrong time to be kind of trying to do that piece of work. So reflecting on some of the things you've achieved this week, in thinking about last week, what were some of your achievements? What did you get done last week? What did you kind of knock off? Those are the kinds of things to think about. So quick summary of those 5 things. Morning routine, number 1, scheduling your time. Caitlin and I go through my calendar at 8 o'clock every morning. Thank you very much, Caitlin. It's very helpful to have my calendar well planned out in advance. My calendar is planned weeks and weeks in advance, and there's not many slots. But this week was planned and kind of locked down middle of last week. So we're planning next week and the week after. I'm going to take 2 weeks leave after Easter for school holidays. And that's one of my goals this year, is to take school holidays off to spend with my family. My son's going to high school, not next year, the year after. And I kind of want to make the most of the school holidays this year in 2021 in terms of quality time with my son. I left this morning just as he was getting out of bed, so I haven't seen him yet today. And that's something really critical for me in my personal goals this year. So tip number 1, morning routine and schedule your time. Tip number 2, stay focused. A written to-do list for the day. If you're operating today without a to-do list with the key things you need to get done, stop after this video and write them down. Even stop this video now and write them down. Get outside your comfort zone and level up your game. So think about how you can do that. Where can you get some motivation from? Who's going to pump you up? I can recommend Brendan Bouchard on YouTube, good motivator, great book, High Performance Habits. Can I see it? Can anyone see High Performance Habits? May not be here in the library right now, but Brendan Bouchard's book on High Performance Habits. Let me have a quick look. Can't see it, not here today, but excellent book by Brendan Bouchard. So maybe someone can post a link to that, an Amazon link in the comments if you guys are watching out in the office. Excellent book, good way to get motivation. So seeing Brendan Bouchard on YouTube, he's got some great videos, or his website, brendan.com. Shout out to Brendan. I've done some of his stuff. It's excellent. Okay. Move your body, fuel your mind with healthy food. So there is no doubt that we really do need to consider the food that we're eating. Are we eating it for energy? Are we eating it for building blocks for our body, for repair to our body, or are we eating it because of how it makes us feel? And that's a challenge. And we've really got to think about antioxidants, oxidants, and the right vitamins and minerals and nutrients and proteins, and sugars, carbohydrates that we need for our body. So that is, I think, one of the biggest things that we can all improve quite simply. And the last one is creating white space to reflect. The downtime, the quiet time. I had a fairly quiet day yesterday working on a side project, and that gave me some downtime to motivate me for today. So which I'm really grateful for. So, and that tip that I've got, which is to write down positives. So if you're struggling with something and thinking about something, even if it's a big decision that you're trying to make, write down that list of the positive things that'll help you make that decision. The fact that you've got to make a decision about something, you've kind of arrived at a fork in the road. Think about the positive direction and the growth direction, lean in that direction and write a list of the positives, and that's going to help you go in that direction. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this quick little video. Anita, hello. Excellent. Syncing with your post-grad studies in leadership. Oh, absolutely fantastic. I think that's really great. So I hope you're enjoying that. So those of you guys that are watching live on YouTube, and if you are able to comment, let me know where you are watching from in the world. It's always good to know. Has this been helpful? Let me know in the comments on LinkedIn or on YouTube, yes or no. Has it been helpful? Good little reminder. They're my tips and tricks. I love these books that I use. It's got a kind of a soft leather cover to it. Daycraft is the one I'm using. It's kind of got this blue tint to the edges of the pages. It's got a bookmark. I can keep a few things. It's got a, not this one. Some of them have got a pocket in the back. Lovely soft paper. The superannuation fund notice that I've got to fix. Keeps some important stuff in the front. And then I can come back to these books. So it's lovely paper to write on. And then I use these 0.5 UniPen water and fade proof pigment ink pens. It's a felt tip pen. I like writing with them. It's taken me a long time to find them. 0.5. So the team buy these for me in bulk. They're here on the shelf behind me. I get about a month out of a pen, and then the tip wears out, go to a new one. So something that's a pen that's nice and lightweight, not too heavy. It's easy to go and buy a really fancy pen, and people have bought fancy pens for me over the years. They're too heavy. I like a really light pen that's really nice felt tip, and I can write my lists and sit down and write my notes. So I think getting yourself set up, that's definitely secret for my success, is getting these two really critical things. I can't live without this. I can live without a phone, but I can't live without my book and my pen. So that is my to-do list, and that's definitely one of the secrets to my success here at Best Practice. Okay, that's it. That's a wrap. Anita, rural New South Wales. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay. Thanks everyone who's joined us on LinkedIn. We will be same time, same place next week, live right here. If you don't see us on Instagram, if you don't see us on LinkedIn, if you don't see us in the Best Practice Training Academy, thank you for your comment, Jerry. I appreciate your testimonial and your comment from the recent course you did with us. I hope everyone's enjoying that brand new course that we've got in the Best Practice Training Academy on how to establish, implement, and maintain and improve a management system in your organization. We are here to help your organization be a great place to work, help improve your customers' experience in your organization, and a great place to invest in. That's what we're here to do. Start, grow, and scale your business. I'm focusing on a new course that's going to help you guys. So any of you guys that are working in a business and you want to help grow and improve that business, I'm working on a brand new course that I'm going to launch in a month's time. To help you guys focus on the right things to help grow and scale businesses. So if you don't see us on Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you'll definitely see us next week right here on Best Practice TV. I hope you enjoyed this. Watch out for an edited version of this video on my LinkedIn account. Check out Kobi Simmat on Instagram is my handle. Big things happening next week on my Instagram. Really excited about that. So if you're not on Instagram, you're not following Kobi Simmat, get on it. It's going to be awesome. And I will see you all right here next time on Best Practice TV. Bye for now.